Lisa Briggs from the Brewers Company, who's joining us to take your plant and garden questions.
She's hanging out on the patio, soaking up all that summer sun. The number to call is 608-270-9933. How's
Lisa?
the heat out there?
It's beautiful out here.
Yeah, compared to yesterday. As long as you're in the shade, it's fine.
Yeah.
Great to see you, Lisa.
Good to see you, too.
Get to the calls. We'll start with Paula in Madison. Hi, Paula. What's your question?
Hi. I have a small, a miniature juniper tree that needs to be moved, and I'm wondering how far out from the diameter of the lower branches I can dig to avoid damaging the roots.
How long has it been in the ground, Paula?
Oh, it started growing a few years ago. It's about 1.5 foot tall.
Okay, so I would say you want to take it, if when you started it, it was, say, in a 2-gallon pot, and it's been in a few years, I'd say you want to take a 24 to 30-inch width, but you don't have to go very deep. For a juniper, probably about 10 inches. You can kind of wiggle a little tarp underneath as you dig it and then pull it out that way. But this is not the right time, so you'd want to wait until later in the summer toward fall when the temperatures start to cool down, like around the 1st of September, or wait until next spring.
Okay. All right.
Up next, we have Jan from Janesville.
Hi, Jan. You there?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi. Yes, I would like to know how to take care of my bleeding heart. It is drying up.
Sure. Bleeding hearts are beautiful in the spring and they love cool temperatures. And so generally, by the middle of the summer, they start to get yellow and they kind of die back. This year, with all the early excessive heat that we've had, I'm not surprised that yours is looking kind of mingy. Just don't worry about it. You can, once it starts to brown and yellow, just cut it back to the ground. It will be fine next spring.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's rather disconcerting when they start drying up right away because you think they just started.
I know. It's a weird year for sure.
And are we lacking in moisture right now?
I guess that Gary or Chris could tell you that better, but I think that we have not caught up because we had quite a deficit going from even last fall and during the winter, and I don't imagine that the storms that we've had in the last couple weeks have done a whole bunch to bring us equal. We're certainly not over what is normal.
Absolutely.
So you should be watering stuff if you've planted new things.
All
Water.
Right. Let's go to Marjorie now in Sun Prairie. Hi, Marjorie.
Hello.
Hi, go ahead.
I have a mock orange bush that last year and this year has very few blossoms and only on one side. And I wonder if it's because of the weather or if there's something I can do to help it bloom more like it used to.
Well, you could certainly apply like a bloom boosting fertilizer, Marjorie, but it might be that maybe that one side is a little shadier than it used to be when you first put the mock orange in. It also could be a pruning issue. So you want to prune mock orange as soon as they're done flowering because they're going to set the flower buds right away. And if you prune later than I would say end of July or early August, you're cutting those flower buds off.
Okay.
Up next, we have Mary from Evansville. Mary, what's your question?
Something is eating the blossoms off my geraniums in my flower garden. I don't know if it's deer or rabbits or squirrels, and I want to know if there's a product that I can put on to keep them away.
Well, if it's a rabbit or any other kind of rodent, and that would look almost like it was snipped with a pruner or a little shear. And you can use there are a number of repellents out on the market for rodents. I like granulated predator urine. It worked really well for me last year to keep the rabbits away from my hosta. If it's sort of nibbling at the blossoms and you think it might be an insect, I guess we'd want to see the damage before we would recommend something in particular, but you could use a broad spectrum insecticide. Just be really careful because those are going to kill anything. Make sure that you don't have any pollinators hanging around, bees, butterflies, that kind of thing when you spray.
Yeah, we don't want to kill them.
We do not.
All right, let's go to Georgia in Woodman. Hi, Georgia. What's your question?
Hi, I have some very healthy tomato plants, but they have not flowered yet.
I
and
know.
They're practically almost, I'd say, 2.5 feet tall.
I know. The weather's been really stop and go, and what members of that family, of the nightshade family, need, potatoes, peppers, eggplant, and tomatoes need, is sustained heat. And what we've been getting is a couple of days of really intense heat, and then the temperature drops. So they just need something a little steady. And let's not forget, too, that it's only the end of June, and we didn't really get our tomatoes in, and they weren't really going until the end of May because May was so chilly. So there's time.
Yeah, everything's a little behind.
Yeah.
Let's go to Fred in DeForest. Fred, what's your question?
Yes, I have some lilies on each side that have bleeding heart plants, and the bleeding heart plants are basically seems like they're choking out the lilies. And what I want to know is if I should transplant the lilies or the bleeding hearts, or what I should do.
Well, I will say that bleeding hearts like a shady spot or a spot with morning sun, where the lilies would like more sun. So I guess if you're going to decide to move one or the other, it would depend on what the site is like. Generally, we don't see bleeding hearts choking out lilies, but one never knows. You might just have not enough sun for your lilies, so you might want to move those, but you're going to want to wait until after they're done blossoming or early next spring.
Yeah, that's a weird combination.
That is a weird combination, but
who knows?
Who knows?
All right, we are out of time. Thank you all for calling in. Lisa, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you soon.
Yep.